What is up, espresso puckers? Welcome back to another video. This is not the same LM that you've seen in previous videos. It is very much a similar machine without a few of the mods. However, we're about to do one of the same mods from a different company. This is the pre-infusion Slayer mod. We shouldn't call it a Slayer mod, but that's what people are calling it. This is from a different company. This one is from the Coffee Machinist in Victoria, Australia. It's a very, very different style setup to the previous one that I've done. It does look pretty good. Very, very different setup. So this one probably does require a little bit more material machining, etc., and some drilling, which most people wouldn't be comfortable with. The other one does some little pipe bending and some other stuff. So either way, this is not a DIY job. It is fairly serious. We're going to get stuck into it. Very much like the last video, I'm not going to show you every detail of this video because people like myself and machine techs rely on a couple of little secrets to pay their bills. So I'm not going to show you absolutely everything. That wouldn't be nice. I'm going to get stuck into it, give you guys a bit of a ride along the way, and probably show you some of the cool little things inside these machines. So this little guy here is a little roller switch. I'll try to give you a close-up on that if I remember. And the little paddle inside, as you turn it, will click on that. This is a part that does require some machining inside the machine. That is your extra solenoid because we're obviously adding a different control to the system. This is your needle valve to adjust your pre-infusion, as we like to call it. Then there are a couple of other little pieces of wiring and bracketry and hoses. And these little guys here, this is one of the reasons why it doesn't require bending, much like some of the other systems out there. But it looks like a fairly basic kit. However, there's some pretty serious tech inside this thing. We're going to get stuck into it inside the machine. This is the fun part, and I get to fix previous technicians' mistakes at the same time. Just a quick note to any techs playing at home, that little screw down there, there's one on either side at the back inside the machine. Can you please tighten them before you give the machine back? Because they're not supposed to do this. Not an LM service without a quick trip to Bunnings, apparently. So I feel like anyone brave enough to take on a job like this will either know the fitting sizes or be smart enough to take the fitting with them. I don't speak BSP, HSP, or HSP. Alright, let's go get some lunch while we're at it. Now, if you're paying attention to the instructions, make sure you read very carefully. There's actually 3 cables coming from the factory micro switch, There's a black, a red and a white. The red as factory is completely insulated like this. We actually need to use that. And then you will need to insulate the white cable that you've cut. It'll make sense in the instructions, just make sure you do it because that won't end well if you don't. And like I said, make sure you insulate the white cable inside the loom. As you can see, the machine is, well, kind of back together, but before we put the shell on, we need to check for water leaks. So it's now up to pressure, so we're just waiting for the temperature to come right up and make sure there's no water leaks because we definitely don't want that. Once we do that, we can go over the machine, dial everything in, and just really double check that the machine has no leaks under load, putting shots through this thing, because I would hate to send this machine back to Queensland. Yes, this machine has been shipped from Queensland to us in Sydney for me to do this job. And so far we're looking pretty good. Hopefully in the next minute or so, I'll be able to pull a shot for you guys. Well, it'll be a minute to you guys. For me, probably gonna be another 10. So that is a massive win. We've got everything dialed in. We've just set it at 3 bar pre-infusion, and I did dial in the pump as it was pushing a little bit over 9 bar of pressure. Before I do put it all back together, I'm going to give the machine a service seal and a new shower screen and a few other bits and pieces while we're at it, as we may as well get this thing perfect, send it back to Queensland, get it to the customer, and he can start making some delicious coffee. And then I'll pull a shot just so you guys can see what it's doing, because it'd be rude not to. And this is what your machine should look like, somewhere along these lines. There's a couple of different ways to do it. I did opt for a slightly different heat shrink on these, as the clear one just didn't really sit on there very nice. But other than that, very, very good little kit in my opinion. It works quite well, nice and easy to get to everything. You can adjust your pre-infusion quite easy if need be. That is pretty cool. Well done to the guys at Coffee Machinist. I like it. So that is the complete installation of the Coffee Machinist paddle mod. I quite like this kit. It is probably one of the easier ones that I have seen, and it seems to be quite a simple setup. Although it's definitely not a simple install. Do not attempt this at home. It's pretty full on. Now I'd just like to say thank you to Andre, the owner of this machine, for trusting me with it. And he went to a lot of trouble to get it from Queensland to Sydney. So that says a lot to me, so thank you so much, mate, for trusting me. That's huge. Now, thank you so much for watching, guys. If you would like to purchase one of these kits, I have put a link to the website below. There's not exactly an online store, but have a chat to the guys there, super helpful. I reached out for a couple of things while we're doing this just to double check a few things, and they were straight onto it. So thanks very much, guys. Have yourselves a great day, and happy brewing.